Today's video, just wanted to share a bit of my experience when I left the military. Left the military in 2009, and well, it was over 10 years ago now. Looking back, I mean, there was a few things that I did that didn't really set me in good stead. So I just want to make this video now just to raise a few points that I think, if I were to do it again, things I would do, things that I wouldn't do. Because leaving the military, firstly, you go back, you join the military. It's a big transition. It's hard, it's different. It's, you're going in from being a civilian, and then you're being molded into becoming a soldier. And everything that you've done prior to that, I mean, you've probably just left school, or maybe had a couple of jobs, college, university, things like that beforehand. But everything you do then, you're guided. You go in and they literally break you down. They break everything out of you, and they mold you to how they want you to be. So I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing. But what I'm saying is that's what happens. And then because that happens, then you're guided through this route. And not only are you guided through this route that thousands and thousands and thousands of people have done before it's tried and tested. So you're guided along the path to most efficiently make you that way, and to transition you from becoming a civilian into a military personnel, whether that's Army, Navy, Marines, whatever. You're not only taking on a new job, but a new lifestyle as well. So not only are you guided through by professionals, trained professionals, experienced professionals through a process, you're also in it with a large group of other individuals who are in the exact same position as you. But when you're in that position, when you're going through a rough time, or you're going through something, and you've got that team mentality, you've got other people behind you that are going through the exact same thing, becomes a little bit easier. And it doesn't seem so challenging because everyone's doing it. You just go with it. So I will make a bit of a bold claim now, and I'll say that I was in the Royal Marines. I served in the Royal Marines, joined up there, and it's well regarded and not disputed by that many that it is one of the hardest, longest basic military trainings in the world. So yeah, it's pretty hard. Not that hard. It's all doable stuff. But I will go out on a whim now, and I will say on record that I think that leaving the military was harder than joining up. The few months after I left were harder than the few months it took them to train me, and it took me to go through supposedly the grueling commando course. So I just want to make this video because I want to help prepare people. A lot of my videos, I get a lot of questions from young guys there looking to join up into whatever military unit they want to join. They've got questions. They want to know about training. They want to know about disciplines. They want to know how many press-ups they got to do. But nobody ever asks the question, what do I do when I leave? What do I do when I get out? What do I do when I decide that this is not what I want to do? What do they do? And nobody's asking what happens when they decide that this is not what they've made the wrong decision. They don't want to join up. So these sort of questions are what you should be thinking in your head. And I certainly wasn't thinking that when going back 10 years ago. It was my early 20s, 21, I think I was, 22. So what I wanted to do is basically say, what I did, do the complete opposite. Because years later, we're still dealing with issues, or I was dealing with issues for years later that were made by decisions that I made at the time. Now, I had a rough year in particular. 2009 was a rough year for me. Things got better, things got worse then as time went by. And I'm not on here to give you a sob story. I'm not on here to say, oh, this happened. It was, I'm a victim of the system. No, I'm on here saying that the rough times that I went through were a result of the decisions that I made. So no, I got nobody blamed for that apart from myself. I could have made life so much more comfortable. And there's lads who do, the lads who leave out, they make themselves a lot better because they prepare for it. They prepare for going outside. Firstly, when you're in, take as many courses, qualifications, things like that you can get your hands on. But then it depends as well what sort of line of work you want to get into. So you need to be thinking about that before you leave. You can't just leave and expect everyone to be just jumping for joy that you've left the military and they want to employ you. So have that in mind. Have some kind of plan in mind. When you leave, you want to become a personal trainer. When you leave, you want to go into security. But when you leave, you want to, get into property, whatever. But you need to plan for this. You can't just leave and expect it to happen straight away, because it's not going to happen straight away. It's unlikely to happen straight away unless you're incredibly lucky. And people like me, I'm not lucky. I've got to work for things. Things just very rarely land on the plate. I know some people they seem to do, but that's not the case. So have that in mind from the start. Decide what it is you want to do. Prepare for it. Get yourself qualified for it. Most things now you need some kind of qualification for it. Get yourself ready, so as soon as you're leaving, you're boom straight into it. You're not messing around like I did. Have a look at your right. Secondly, have a look at your lifestyle when you're in. I was a bit of a party animal. I was drinking all the time. I was partying most nights. You can get away with that when you're in. You get away with it there, because fact of the matter is, as long as you turn up with the military, as long as you turn up, nobody cares. You could turn up stinking of booze, and the first thing you're going to do in the morning anyway is normally go for a run. And as long as you can keep up with a run, then nobody cares. In fact, if anything, you're applauded. Well, back then you were anyway. I don't know what it's like now. It just doesn't work on Civvy Street. I don't know if, like my job now, if I rocked up with a hangover, well, for starters, if I had a job now, I'd have to, say if I went out drinking all night now, and then decided to go to work the next day, I'll be driving to work drunk for starters, and then I'll be going into work, and clients aren't going to be happy with it, and bosses aren't going to be happy with it. I'm stinking of booze. It's not a good look. In the military, you can get away with it. So look at your lifestyle. If that's the lifestyle you want, and that's the lifestyle you want to maintain, then going outside is probably not a good option. I think there's a misconception in the military where people think that civvies don't work hard, and I'm going to be straight up and honest with you now. The day-to-day life in the military was easy. It was initially getting into training was tough, but then your average day on camp was a piece of cake. You didn't have to really do much work. Maybe clean a few things, move a few things. Unless you're actually on operations or exercises, and it's different then. But you're only on those for a small percentage or small time of the year. The rest of the time you're just dossing around doing it on a great deal. Thirdly, mistake I made was when I came back, I tried to rekindle some old friendships, people I went to school with, and this was a mistake. I wasted my time, I wasted my energy, and I wasted my money. At the end of the day, people who mattered, and the people who I'm still in contact with, I'm still good friends with now, they stayed with me, they stayed in touch with me, they made the effort to stay in touch with me whilst I was away, whilst I was serving, when I came home on leave. And I think that's something really to look at. I mean, at the end of the day, if you go away for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, 15 years, and you decide to then go and catch up with people you haven't seen for 10 years, people you went to school with, they've got jobs, they've got families, they've got other things going on. They don't care what you've been doing. They're not interested. You're a completely different person anyway when you come back. You've changed, they've changed, you've gone your separate ways. So I would say, in most circumstances, don't go out your way to try and catch up with them unless, don't put too much into it, because your friends are the ones who will stick with you, and, invest your time in them. Invest your time in the ones who are with you, the ones who stayed with you, and the ones who care about you. They're the important ones, and the family as well. Another point I'd like to mention is try and get into something, whether it's a hobby, whether it's a sport. I think military, because we're all into our fitness, exercise, sports. These things are all linked. I think that getting into something like that straight away, as soon as you come out, be the best thing physically and mentally for somebody leaving the services. Now, A sports team would be great for your team player. Sports team, if you're into rugby, football, try and join a team, athletics team or something like that, because you get that mentality, you get the team mentality again. It comes back to that. You're not on your own, you're not isolated. If you're not into team sports, make sure you're still keeping fit, whether it's just going for a run, whether it's go to the gym, whether it's going training, whatever. Just make sure you keep fit, whether you're going outdoors, which I would recommend. I would recommend getting out in the doors, getting outdoors, out in the countryside. Just go for, a bit of navigating, a bit of walking, mountain climbing, things like that. Cycling, these sort of things, getting yourself out and about. I would strongly suggest doing that to help with your mentality. Sadly, a lot of guys, they leave and they struggle in it, and everyone's got different circumstances, but I think having something like that to keep you going, having something like that to hang on to, is really going to be beneficial. What I'd also say as well is, whilst you're in, stay in touch with your family, stay in touch with your best friends back home. Don't just be a complete dick and mug them off, because when you come out, make sure you've got good relationships with your family. Maintain good relationships with your family, because you might need their help at some point later on down the line. And it's always good to have family, friendship, these bonds, just to keep everyone together. Whilst you're on a good wage. I mean, it doesn't sound that great to begin with, but when you compare it to other jobs that people be getting, without looking at massive degrees or having to study for years and years and years, without the qualifications, you're going to be on a lot more money than your peers of the same qualifications, same time of service, etc. So you go and get a job in a shop or something, you're likely to be on minimum wage. You go in the military, you get the same qualifications required, you're going to be earning a salary, you're going to be more money. And not only that, food, accommodation is pretty much squared away for you. This gives you an opportunity to save from day one. Save money. I didn't do this. I just drank it all. I went on the booze the entire time. Make sure you're saving. I'll tell you exactly what I did. I joined up, and they come and tell you. We had two very nice ladies from Barclays Bank come down to us and say, look guys, you're in week 1 of training now. We're going to set you up with a bank account, because they've actually got a Barclays Bank on site. Well, they did back then anyway. And then they'll say, right, save up and just save a little bit of your salary every month, which is, they do teach you these things, but, being an arrogant person like me, a 19-year-old knows everything. I didn't. I went to do it. I saved, I think it was £50. I think I was putting aside every month, because I think back then, we were on about £600 a month when we first started. So I was putting about £50 a month aside, and obviously wages have gone up now. Wages are much better now than they were, and obviously got to take into account inflation and things like that. But I put £50 aside, but then every single month then I'll go, right, I'm looking a bit short on funds. I want to go out and have a drink. So I would withdraw the money from the savings account, at £50 I'd already saved, and then that would go straight down the pub. Which meant that when I left the military, I not only had no savings, but I was also in a copious amount of debt. And it was bad debt, because I had absolutely nothing to show for it. If you're in and you're getting mortgages and things like that, and you're investing in property and you're making good decisions, good investment decisions, that's brilliant. And I think that's definitely an option and definitely a way to go. Do not leave with a load of bad debt and expect to be able to just jump into a job, be able to pay it all off, because it just goes one way. It is not good at all. It took me years and years and years to clear that debt that I had accumulated from being in the military and doing this ridiculous lifestyle that I was living, drinking all the time, partying all the time, and just generally doing things I couldn't afford. So guys, I can't stress this enough. I hope that this message will get to you, and even if you're looking at it now and thinking, well, I've got no don't want to leave or whatever, just hopefully it will have some kind of effect, and take you from somebody who's been through it, take you through somebody who made bad decisions, take you through somebody who was struggled and struggled and struggled for years after leaving because of the decisions I made in the year or so before I left. a handful of rubbish decisions just affected my life massively for years. And I left the military with all these ideas, all these grand ideas. I was going to do this, I was going to do that. And when you're young, it's it's great. You don't care. You just think everything's going to fall into place. And trust me, it didn't happen. Yeah, I had to work. I had to work hard, and I lost weight. Like I left thinking, oh, I'm gonna get jacked. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna be training all the time. I was working 3 jobs. I left the military and I had to work to make up the money I was on and be able to pay the debts that I was paying in the military, that I was paying off, because obviously I wasn't paying accommodation fees and things like that in the military. I had to work 3 jobs for, I think it was about 3 months. I had three jobs, and it was 2 full-time jobs, a full-time day job, a full-time night job, and then a part-time weekend job. I worked, so I was getting like 2 nights of sleep. I was 2 nights sleep a week. I was working in the kitchen and restaurant in the day, chopping up veg and preparing food and things like that, washing dishes. And then I was leaving there, going home, putting a suit on, and then going to work in a hotel as a nights person in a hotel. And then on the weekend, and then I'd finish there in the morning, go back to the kitchen. And then some days then I would be able to have a night's sleep because I have a night off from the hotel. But then that would fall then often sometimes on a weekend when I had the job as a pool attendant in a school swimming pool on the weekends, and a school gym. And so I was doing gym inductions and things like that it was a council run gym, and they had projects and things like that going on outside, and extracurricular clubs and stuff on the weekends. And I occasionally work there in a week as well. And I don't want to go into loads of details about what else was going on for me personally. I just wasn't just working hard. I had other things going on, other stresses and other issues that just caused problems. And this all could have been avoided if I had just sorted my act together out. When I was in there, 2008. When I made the decision to leave, I put my notice in, and for some reason I just continued what I was doing. I should have just gone, right, that's it now, no more partying, let's sort yourself out when you get out. And I think back then there was this kind of thing going on. There was this thing going around where basically people were just saying, oh, it's fine, you leave the military, you just go straight and work in close protection, great. You don't have to, people made it sound so easy. It was just like, you leave and next thing you know, they're on a phone calling you up. And, well, I don't know, maybe some guys had contacts that they were able to do that. And I think back then the industries like that weren't regulated so much anyway. I think you may have been able to do that without licenses and stuff like that, without qualifications. But now, you've got to have so many ticks in the boxes, so many bits of paper to say that you're able to do that. You've got to have, mental health background checks. You've got to have criminal record checks. You've got to have licenses. You've got to have certificates. When I did maritime security for a few years, and when I started off, you needed a ship security officer course, you needed a medical certificate, specific medical certificate for working at sea. You'd have all this seafarer paperwork. There's just they're like passports basically for people who work on the ships, and a few other things as well. Safety 5-day courses and stuff like that. You can just come out and do them. But even now, I was in that industry for a few years, and every year something new came about. Well, we need this now, guys. Oh, guys, it's not the same now. We need to have mental health background checks. Guys, we need this. A few months later, then, lads, you need to do this now. And it was constantly hoops that you had to jump through. So it wasn't just a case of, just leave the military and go straight in. It wasn't like that at all. And what you got to realise as well is there are thousands of guys, thousands of ex-military guys who want these jobs. It's not just a case of, you just go and get it, you're the only person leaving. There's thousands, hundreds of people leaving. And there's people already out, there's loads of veterans out, and there's, people with experience as well. There's people who've done more, there's people who've been longer, they've had more tours. So you need to make yourself competitive. You need to be in a position where you're not living in a dream world where you're thinking, right, it's just going to fall in place. You've got to work from the start. And you've got to prepare yourself, just like you would in the military, just like you did for the military. You've got to prepare yourself for becoming a civilian and stepping back into it. Because if you try and keep that military mentality going, like I did, honestly, you just end up in the hurt locker, and it's not great. So anyway, I hope my little rant was of use. It's not happening at all. Yeah, all the best, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment below. Let me know what you want to see, what you want me to cover. If you want any other things that you think I may be able to help you with, let me know. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.